Do you find prospecting challenging as a sales professional? Join me in this discussion as we highlight some of the possible reasons as to why sales staff struggle with prospecting, and I believe you'll find this discussion very insightful. My name is Mary as usual, and I'm glad to be joined by our CEO, Mr. Paminas, who will be shedding more light in this discussion. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Mary.
Great. I know prospecting is a very key aspect of every sales professional. So why is prospecting key in the sales process?
So, Mary, when it comes to any business, sales is the lifeblood of any business. So if you're not onboarding any new clients, then your business really doesn't have a life. You not go, the business will not exist. Yeah. And for many of the people watching this video, I mean, they are sales professionals, they know that the first step in any sales process is prospecting. And why is prospecting important? Number one, it helps you to identify potential customers. Then when you identify the potential customers, then you're able to qualify the leads. Because remember, when you're identifying the potential customers, you throw the word out there and many people will respond. But from there, you'll be able to qualify your lead and say, no, I want to work with John, I want to work with Paminas, I want to work with Mary. This is my ideal client. And from there, when you've been able to qualify the leads, then you can be able to build a sales pipeline. And this is where now we start to see now you getting paying customers. Yeah, so it's a four-part process. Number one, identifying the clients, potential clients. Number two, qualifying those clients. Number three, then you being able to build a sales pipeline and then getting paying customers. So if you do that, then you can say that you've gotten it right when it comes to prospecting. Yeah.
Indeed, it's very key in the sales process.
Yeah.
Now, why do most sales professionals or sales staff, what are some of the reasons they could be struggling with prospecting?
Yeah, indeed, Mary, when the success rate when it comes to sales professionals, it's actually 20%. So any sales manager watching this video will attest that out of the 10 sales staff they have, 20, the ones who bring 80% of the business are only 20. Two of them. Yeah, so why? Because sales in its very nature, it's quite a demanding role. And many people, professionals, are not able to meet those demands. Yeah. But now, going back to prospecting, which are some of these, how do they fail? Yeah. Number one, you find that they lack the skills. Yeah. For you to prospect, let's say you need to know how to build rapport, communication skills, negotiation. And that's a skill. It's not just something you can assume. So number one, it could be lack of skill. Number two, it could be purely fear of rejection. And that is why I advise our clients that there's a particular kind of personality that fits a sales role. Not necessarily the most extroverted person, no.
The most talkative person.
No, it's not necessarily that. Yeah, but there's a particular type of people who don't fear rejection. People who can be able to put out themselves out there. People who are persistent. Those are people who do well in sales. People who like interacting with people. I could be extroverted, but I'm not a people person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so fear of rejection could also be another reason. The third one is lack of planning. So you see a salesperson, they know end month is where they'll be evaluated. And you find the last week of the month, that's the time they really go out there and they try and do their best. So how are they going to meet their KPIs? If in a month they only work hard in 1 week so that they are not fired.
They want like a last-minute conversion.
Precisely. And that doesn't work because, yeah, your needs may be 1 week, but the client that you're engaging, they need maybe 3-4 weeks to make a decision. Yeah. So that could also be a reason. Another one we see is lack of discipline. Unfortunately, with sales is you can't afford to have a bad day. An accountant can afford to put their work aside for 3 days. HR can do that. But sale, you have to show up every day. So whether you are feeling like it or not, you do just have to put yourself out there.
Discipline.
Yeah. So if a salesperson doesn't have discipline, then prospecting is going to become very hard. If they're looking back at 2 weeks, how they were treated, and they feel I can't go to the market again, then you can see how they'll struggle. Yeah. The last one is lack of accountability and performance tracking from the organization. So a lot of times we hire people, we want them to make for them to think of us as good managers, good bosses. So we've given them all the tools, but you are afraid to have that difficult conversation with the sales staff. So for sure, if you're a manager, you are watching this, when was the last time you had a one-on-one discussion with a sales executive on how they are performing? Put them to task. What have you done for the week? And that is where reporting comes in, so that you can have a candid discussion on their performance. Yeah. So the more you as a manager, you track their performance, you're intentional on their performance, the more you will find that they are doing better. It's just human nature. Yeah.
And I know you'll agree with me that the ability to do a good job in prospecting will definitely result into converting that lead.
Yes. It's everything. Prospecting is everything. It doesn't matter how good you are at presentation. It doesn't matter how good you are at the product. If you don't get it right at prospecting, that affects, it's a pipeline. It affects everything at the end. And the end is revenue. So if you look at sales, prospecting is at the start, the last thing is revenue. So you miss the start, trust me, even the end will not be good. Yeah.
Great. A manager, sales manager could be watching this video and wondering what can they do to empower their sales staff. Maybe that is the last parting shot you can share with us.
The first point, Mary, is set clear expectations. Does the salesperson have a JD? Do they have KPIs? Or did you just hire them and tell them you go to the field and bring clients? What are the expectations? It could be weekly results, monthly, or even yearly. Measure and agree from the very beginning. Second is that provide training. And training, I always say there are two types of training. It could be product or the sales technique. Yeah. So product can be done at in-house, and it's best actually done in-house. But in terms of sales technique, it's always good to engage a third party, and this is where corporate staffing comes in.
Yeah.
So whether you want us to teach them about prospecting, whether it's about presentation skills, negotiations, how to handle objections, you can be able to do that. Yeah, and take them to a different environment. Yeah, I've found that they really appreciate. Yeah. The other thing you can do is provide ongoing support and resources. So unfortunately, the instances where I meet salespeople, they're really hardworking, they're motivated, but you find there's no airtime, there's no transport, and yet we expect them to deliver. Surely this person is not going, they can only do so much. Yeah. So as an employer, a responsible manager, advocate that they get the right resources to be able to deliver on their job. The other thing, Mary, that a manager can do is hold the staff accountable. As I said, a lot of times performance seeps through the cracks because we are not serious. We don't review performance, and so people get away with a lot. That shouldn't happen. Yeah. And lastly, salespeople motivate them with rewards. Yeah, salespeople are very selfish.
They want bonuses, commissions.
They want bonuses, they want commission. And I know I said they are selfish, but not in a bad way. It's in a good way because
motivation.
They can see this is what I've brought in, Mary. So for sure, I can't bring 1 million shillings and I go home empty-handed. In maybe 2-3 years' time, I've moved the business from 1 million to 4 million. Shouldn't there be growth also? So the question is also, how are you rewarding them? So again, we do have many companies in terms of coming up with a commission structure, so that, you know, a structure that works for the institution and also works for the salesperson. Yeah.
Great. Very insightful. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
Great. Indeed, as a sales person, as a sales staff, as a sales employee, or even as an employer, it's very important to empower your sales team to build your capacity, to build their capacity, to be able to get it right at the prospecting stage. As Pamina's has mentioned, most sales staff struggle with prospecting, and this is where we come in with our trainings, customized trainings, depending on the nature of the services that you offer, your target market. They might have gotten it right in terms of understanding the business, understanding the product, but if they struggle with selling techniques, definitely prospecting might be a challenge. We encourage you to feel free and reach out to us, and we will be able to customize the training to suit your needs as a company or as an organization. We look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.